So, do the intro. Obviously, welcome back to another WAYE interview. Again, thank you, WAYE Mag, for this opportunity. I'm EK, your interviewer, and today we have, we have an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
We have a very incredible entrepreneur with us today. Is it, on your Insta, it's Vivi Diamonds?
Yeah.
So what's your name?
Victoria.
Victoria.
Yeah.
So today we have Victoria with us. Hi, Victoria.
Hi. I'm good. I'm excited to be here. Actually.
I'm excited to have you. Now, before I get into it, just kind of let everybody know what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my name's Victoria. My last name's not actually Diamonds. Everyone thinks it's Diamonds, but my last name is Victoria Omobuoja. So I'm Victoria Omobuoja. I'm the CEO and founder of Sunmay Snacks. So we sell a range of plantain crisps, which is our first product, and we also sell sweet potato puffs, and we're launching more really exciting products. We're coming out with a sumo sport range, and we're sold.
Sorry.
And we're sold in Selfridges, Sainsbury's, Whole Foods Market, on Amazon, through our website, and we're getting into more stores, such as Holland & Barrett's, Boots. So yeah, more stores to come.
So, God, that blew my head. Okay, because I was gonna ask you anyway. We'll get into that. Firstly, so this is sumo. It's Nigerian. You get it. Sumo snacks.
You say it better than me.
I said.
Yeah.
So these are the snacks. So let me know, like, for everybody out there, how did you start? Mm-hmm. How did you start your brand?
Yeah, so I think I started with an idea essentially. I just felt as though I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and you often get told, do what you're passionate about, and I love cooking. I knew that it was a way that my family came together. We have extended family, I've got foster brothers, so I knew it was a way that we bonded.
Yeah.
Then I saw a gap in the market where it comes to African Caribbean products being in mainstream like stores such as Sainsbury's, Whole Foods Market, Tesco, those types of places. And I just thought, you know what, let me bring a product that I know and I love, that everyone really loves, but it's not mainstream yet, to the mainstream. And so I went for it, pretty much.
And your first store, this is incredible, your first store that you got into was Selfridges.
Yeah.
How did that connection between you and getting into Selfridges even happen? So
we met Selfridges at a trade show.
Okay, cool.
I think the thing is with our brand, I did a lot of research on the industry, and I knew we was targeting Selfridges like from the jump.
Okay.
So we made sure that we went to where they were. So we went to a couple of trade shows.
Yeah.
The first one we went to, Selfridges buyers was there.
Okay.
And we're there, and we just spoke to them. We told them about the brand. We made it really exciting, bubbly. We caused a lot of hype. It was in Excel Centre.
Okay, cool.
And then they was like, send us through some samples. We'll check them out, see if we like them. And some of the buyers actually said, because that day we went Waitrose, Tesco, Sainsbury's buyers, and some of them said, we've been looking for plantain crisps that are healthier, because a lot of them are made with palm oils. So we was kind of like, we didn't know you was actually looking for our type of product.
Yeah.
And we sent them samples, and they just sent me an email saying, we want to launch you in store. So yeah.
So when did you start? When did the whole vision come together?
So it came together March 2019.
Okay.
So last year, March.
So this has been running for a year and a bit.
Yeah.
And you are in how many stores again? Sorry, just for the people.
So we're in Selfridges, Sainsbury's, Whole Foods Market. So three major stores. We're on Amazon, and we're on our website as well.
How do you... Because firstly, like, congrats. That's actually very incredible. Like, for somebody who's also, like, an entrepreneur, like, seeing that from somebody else is great. Seeing that from my own countrymen, you have to see.
Yeah.
But seeing that from someone is incredible, especially, like, with the whole, what the magazine and what I'm trying to do is kind of inspire, emerging creatives through what current ones are doing.
Cool.
And the fact that in, a year and, 9 months, you were able to, you knew what you wanted to do, you targeted a certain brand, and then from there your thing just blew up, and you also saw a gap in the market, which is like it's really nice to see. So I did some research on you.
Yeah.
And again, incredible, you were on ZZ Moses' show as well.
Yeah.
And you were saying how, you know, a lot of it, when you started, you made like a lot of mistakes. And I was just hoping that you can kind of touch on that as well.
Yeah. I think when I first started, I think some mistakes would... So, for example, I mentor a few young people now, and they say to me, oh, I want to get into the big stores. And then they're like, oh, so how did you start? And I started out on market stores. So I did Old Spitalfields Market. And I thought that the big brands were a bit too far for me to reach. So I didn't just go straight in and say, listen, this is my product. Send them samples and hello, like knock on their door. I didn't even knock back when I first started. So I was like, oh, okay, so maybe I should do market stores. But I always tell young people, go straight to the big guys. Because with them, it's persistence. And sometimes they launch a product that doesn't actually have a packaging and branding, but they launch it based on relationships. So they'll say, okay, this is a great tasting product. Keep on emailing us, keep on giving us updates, and when you're ready, you can go straight into store. And I've seen food brands do that. So I think one mistake I made was just like thinking you had to like work your way up slowly, just that notion, and rather than just going straight for the big guys first up. So that wasted some time. Mistakes. Oh, I think there's as a business owner, there's so many little things. I think hiring people, that was a waste of money. Just commissioning work, like maybe design work, and it's just way too expensive. You didn't need to spend that cost. Hiring PR, and a lot of the positive PR that we've got and that's actually generated sales has been all organic. So we didn't really need to hire a PR agency. So yeah, those types of things were very costly mistakes.
That's because for me, like I run like a clothing brand, so like a lot of the mistakes you're talking about, I'm talking about as well. I went through as well, and I wanted to ask where I feel like I kind of know the answer, because I feel like it's quite consistent for like a lot of young entrepreneurs. But those moments where, well, firstly, did you have those moments where you just thought, yeah, let me just like scrap it? How were they for you?
Oh, absolutely. So obviously when I was doing the market stores right before I got investment, I was working in finance, so I'll wake up at like, let's say 5, get to the office 7, do some cinema work, go home around 5ish, I think. Then maybe I'll prepare for a show in that evening or on the weekend. So I'll be up. I would have got to bed at like 2 a.m. So I was just tired. I was like, this is a lot of work. I'm packing all of this myself. I'm making the product all myself, like with help from friends and family. And I pretty much felt like giving up at that point that I actually got investment in the company. And I knew I had goals to go to the big stores, but I knew I needed a lump sum of money to get there. So yeah, I definitely felt like giving up. And when I actually had the conversation with my investor, it was more a mentorship conversation, because we worked in the same company. And like she said, oh, so what do you do outside of work? And I was like, oh yeah, I just got this. I was actually just like, it's over. Yeah, I was just like, oh yeah, I just got this plantain crisp. You were
making it seem something smaller than it, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't selling it at all. I just was like, change the subject. I want to advance my finance career. Let's talk about that. And she's like, you got what? And then she just went on and on. She's like, I'm going to invest in you. And she's like, we need to do this. And I was just like, obviously it lighted the things I already wrote down to do once I get investment. So I was a bit gobsmacked. I was pretty much silent, just writing notes like, but yeah, I definitely felt like giving up. And you do hear that often, like it's at the point that someone feels like giving up is when they get their biggest breakthrough. So yeah, definitely I think persistence, tenacity. Sometimes I see, like especially during COVID, I've seen brands say they've gone out of business.
Yeah.
I understand if it's a retail brand and they can't pay their rent and it's like huge overheads. But some brands, I'm thinking, you could have just pivoted. You could have just brought out a new product. You shouldn't have given up because people already know your brand.
Yeah.
You know, we could have waited for you to bring out a new product, essentially. So yeah, I definitely think don't give up. It does feel that way, but you could always change up your idea a little bit.
How that feeling of getting an investment, because again, like speaking from personal experience, everything within my brand is funded by me. So it's me going work, saving money, funding the brand. If I'm gonna sell stuff, okay, do pre-orders, control it like that, makes it a bit easier for me. But obviously, like, if I got an investment, things will like be running smoothly. So I'm kind of getting that from the start for you. It was kind of the same thing. Like when there were orders, it was the man house, just you. So that, because me personally, if someone came to me and said that they want to invest in my brand, I'd be doing backflips and front flips. Like, at the start, I'd be a bit like cautious, of course, but when like I see the truth in it, I would just be doing backflips and front flips. So again, like for people watching and like young entrepreneurs coming up, that feeling of getting an investment, how, because I'm still waiting.
Yeah.
But how was that? Because that must have been.
It felt good. It felt so good. I would say, of course, I was cautious. So I was thinking, how do I protect myself? How do I make sure this happens smoothly? So I had to have a lawyer. So I got a lawyer to help me with the paperwork. And could she just steal my idea? All those types of thoughts went through my mind. But essentially, and how do I make sure she actually puts the money in? And I had 2 investors. So I have 2 initial investors. And I think it was really good. They knew each other, and one being excited about the brand encouraged the other one to invest. So they both invested. But yeah, I was overjoyed. It's just like all of the plans that because I would, even though I didn't have the money, I would create financial forecasts. Like, okay, with £10,000 we're gonna do this, and with 20 we're gonna do this. So I knew exactly what we would do when we have that money. So it just felt like, yeah, I'm going to be able to do that. Then there was a lot of the kind of Dragon's Den back and forth. I want 50%. And I'm like, no. And you have to do your research on the industry. Like, that's not the value of my company. Even if you've made no sales. But, you are proposing getting into Selfridges, getting into Sainsbury's, and those things happened. And I showed how exactly we're going to do it. So there was that Dragon's Den moment. So it was very exciting, but at the same time I had to be like on the ball with making sure everything was done right, like legally, the right way, and that everything was kind of like the percentage it was a minority percentage, like it was a small percentage I was giving away. So that the value of the company is maintained.
So putting like the whole scope of things, how did you, like, because when you had this idea, was business or going into business like always a plan A for you? Like, did you always want to, if it wasn't like the snacks, would you have always gone into like Whole Foods or into retail, or was there something different that you wanted to do from the start?
Absolutely. So business has always been my passion and my ambition since I was like, I don't know, 16, maybe even 13 or something. And before this food company, I actually I still have a property portfolio. So I am still in business in other areas.
Okay, cool.
And I guess...
Property as well?
Yeah.
Sorry, Cara.
Yeah, so I definitely knew... I was very passionate about the snacks because I saw where the company can make money. I saw the growth. Obviously, we can bring out more products so it can expand the brand. And I see that food is something that, even during lockdown, with the retail stores, all the food stores were still open. So Sainsbury's was still open, which was good. But for example, if the retail stores close, like our supermarkets, it can be sold online, and everyone needs food every day. So I knew it was like a sustainable business. So yeah, I definitely wanted to do food, but I mean, at a time, if you know how many businesses that I talk to and that I have that are launching, I do multiple things at one time.
See, you're kind of like me, because when like I talk to people or like just for myself, I always try and think that, you know, like try and have as many streams of income as possible.
Yeah.
And I always believe that you're never just one thing. You're never like tallied to one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like even before like I started my brand and everything, I was doing football. I still am playing football, and football's one stream of income for me. My brand is a stream of income that, by God's grace, I can turn into different streams. So my brand being like a parent company to other little companies, which is the plan, and I would always encourage that for people. So when I hear that from you, that's incredible, because even me, like, this is it's no disrespect to the snack business at all, but when you kind of, especially like when it's, I won't say niche, but when it's plantain chips, it's like, for us Nigerians and Africans, we understand what that is. I can back packets. But then when you're trying to go to a consumer market that aren't so clued up about what plantain is, it's like it could be seen as, how are you really going to make money from this? But then the fact that firstly you proved it to yourself and you've done it, which is incredible, but also you've created those other streams of income. But what I wanted to ask, literally, with that, is how you market it to maybe the people who didn't grow up how we grew up, so in Africa and with plantain and stuff like that.
Yeah, so there's the educational side of the business, which in all honesty is difficult, because if it's like you're bringing out, I don't know, a kale crisp or something that people, or just a white potato crisp or something, or even sweet potatoes, they know exactly what that is. So they look at it and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I know what a sweet potato is, I'm going to pick that up and buy it. And of course, brands like Walker's or Coca-Cola, what they will do is do big ad campaigns which will educate people on this product. So, for example, cold brew coffee was like a new thing, and you had brands such as Starbucks bringing out their own cold coffees and things like that, and that brought attention to that. And you need to put a lot of money behind it. So it is difficult. And I think what we do in terms of that is bring out products that people know the ingredients already. So it's not an educational piece. They see it and they're like, oh yeah, I know what a sweet potato is. That even sounds delicious. And with that audience, we found there's a lot of pickup with our sweet potato puffs as opposed to our plantain crisp, in all honesty. Like, they will just see the packaging and they're like, yeah, I want that one. So yeah, that's why we have to diversify. Like, we need to bring out more products. I want plantain crisp to go mainstream, because once they taste it, they're like, yeah, I want to buy this. But then getting them to taste it and see it on shelf and be like, okay, I know what that is, let me buy it, is they need to like have at least tried it before or something. So
I think that's great, because also the education thing is like, it can be like very subtle in terms of like, just, I would say, like a white person buying a bag of plantain chips, and then after that they like it so much, you do your research. It's like with anything. Like, for me, when I hear something or when I like something, I do my research on it after. Like, where it's come from, who made it, like things like that. And you get more invested in the story and how it was built up and why they even choose this as opposed to other things, because there are like plantain brands around, but when I was looking at yours and what makes it different, obviously, like, especially the flavouring, me, I'm basic when I get mine. I just get the spicy one, but then I've got this sweet potato puffs with vegan cheese, and for me, without even tasting it, I can see, okay, from what I've seen with the other brands, you've now touched into vegan, which is, I won't say it's a trend, but a lot more people are going vegan. A lot more people are, you know, trying to go vegan, or just, you know, trying to take more care with what they put in their body. So even having that option is like, okay, cool, now I've catered to everybody who just likes plantain chips, but maybe I haven't catered to vegan, so now I've gone, right, now I've catered to you guys, I'm just trying to take everyone in. And I love that, because now I'm thinking, I'm not going to go vegan because I like eating meat, but I want to do more research into like veganism. So it's like the education, the way that the education trail can go is incredible. Now, I want to ask a question, not really to do with your business, but you personally. So Do you feel like there's pressures as a female being a business owner in this world, in this market that we're in right now? That's what I want to hear.
So pressures, do you know, I think there definitely were pressures at the beginning.
Yeah.
And this is why, honestly, I love the the Black Lives Matter movement, the Black-owned business movement, because I vividly remember when I first started the brand, there are like female white food entrepreneurs that are doing really well. And they tend to be the face of their brand. So they'll have their picture on their Instagram page and they're the ones promoting all the time. And I wanted to go that route. So I put my picture on the Instagram. And then actually, like, a guy just said to me, you shouldn't put your picture on the Instagram. People might not buy from you because you're black.
Yeah.
And I took it down, not because he said that, but more so because we then got a branding agency to do the logo and things like that. So I was like, well, let's put the logo up there. It looks great. I didn't take on board what he said because I'm just like, I don't want people to buy from me if they won't because I'm black. Yeah. Because even though I want to make money, I do want to inspire a whole generation of people, and I do want that to change. Like, I don't want to be a brand that's not true to who I am. Yeah. So so I kept showing that I'm the founder of the brand. So there was that pressure in just that, oh my gosh, especially when you're starting out, you haven't really made any sales, so it's the unknown, and you're like, oh my gosh, are they going to listen to me? Are they going to take me seriously? Are they going to decide to stop me knowing that I'm a black girl, you know? And then, so there was that pressure definitely at the beginning, but I just kind of was like, held to that. And then I would hear stories of brands, not in the food industry, but in maybe media and events. And they would literally decide to hide that they're black up until they make like £1 million, or they made like 2 million or something, and then reveal it because they didn't want to lose credibility in their company. So yeah, there is that, but I was just like, you know, I'm going to be bold and I'm going to make sure I show exactly who I am. And it I guess it still works. And now there's the whole Black Lives Matter movement where companies want to work with you because you are black. Yeah. So, yeah.
So they basically told you to hide the fact you're black to kind of push your business forward.
Yeah. And I mean, it comes full circle because those same people who kind of said that have come back and asked me, oh, do you want us to work with you on media work and stuff like that? Yeah. And but I do have to say though, it wasn't white people that said it to me. It was black people, yeah. So I guess it is what it is.
So I always do say, like, you know, people can, I'm not going to say that they're tearing you down, but people can always try to like tear you down, and then, you know, through perseverance they come back and they're always like one of the first people to praise you. But that's crazy because me, like, my brand is very blatantly black. Like, it's not that it caters to black people only, but it's the fact that, like, my brand is called Peace, Love and Black. It started me witnessing a death, and my whole thing is I'm trying to change the narrative of how black people are viewed, but also young people as well, because black people in the media and everything, how they're viewed is terrible. But also young people and how people view, like, our mentality is also not great. So I'm trying to do both. But that's mad because I feel like I couldn't, like, if someone said to me, yeah, you need to like rebrand and take off black, it just couldn't happen. Like, I couldn't. And I proved it to myself now in the sense of like where it's going. But that's mad. I wasn't expecting that. I think Zizi asked you a question. I wanted to ask it as well because I don't feel this way at all. I'm a big advocate for female in business. It shouldn't be a thing. It shouldn't be female in business and men in business. It should just be people in business. But do men feel intimidated?
I don't know. No man has told me you're intimidating, basically. Okay. But what I would say is I have worried about it. So that is a pressure. Like, you don't want to outshine your boyfriend or something. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to outshine your husband.
But why? No, wait. Okay. I get what you're saying. But why? If alright, for me, yeah, let's say that I have a wife in it. Now, I always want to make money, and I want to make as much money as I can. If my wife is actually outshining me, we are up. Like that's how I see it. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
But I just want to ask. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But go on.
No, that's cool. I think there's the male ego. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like men have specifically told me, I want to make more money than my wife.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I feel good when guys are bold with it. Like some guys say it and they don't even think twice that they've just said something that's a bit wild. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like a lot of guys have that mentality. Like, how can my wife be making more than me? Especially in the African community. Anyway, I know in the Nigerian community.
Yeah.
So there's that, and I do want a peaceful home. Do you know what I mean? So do I decide I can only go out with someone who is making more than me, not because I want to kind of have this rich husband, or more so because his ego is going to be hurt if I am. So it's hard. It's difficult because I think I do, even without someone specifically telling me you're intimidating. I see maybe like when I'm doing things, I'm achieving things. They're like, it's not always or like well done. It's sometimes like I didn't know you was doing that. Okay. I am, but you should be happy for me. So yeah, it is hard. I think some guys will be intimidated, and it is what it is. I don't think you should dim your light for anybody.
No, at all. Because that's the thing. Because it's like if you were to have a daughter with me, if my friend was to have a daughter, then I would tell her the same thing. Like, listen, like you're my daughter, so like. I'm not expecting you to not be on your grind. I'm not expecting you to not make your money. And if you have a boyfriend and you make more money than him, well done. Yeah. Well done. Because maybe it's because for me, I grew up in most of my life a single parent household, and it was my mum. I have my 2 brothers and my sister, but like growing up around them before my brothers came back home, I just was surrounded by female empowerment. So I saw how my mum grinded. I saw how she worked to pay off bills. I saw how my sister did it. So like this whole like money thing, at the end of the day, for me, I would only be angry is if I was making nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm not a waste at all. So if I feel like females in business and making money, I get why it's intimidating for guys, obviously because of pride and ego, but I feel like now it just needs to be dropped. And also there's therefore a lot more girls I know who maybe a lot more smarter than certain guys in certain fields, and I feel like it's unfair on them because most businesses are male dominated. So there's already a pressure when a female goes into a business because now it's you against the men, and obviously men typically have more things to talk about with men, so it's like you could feel out of place in so many different ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
But with what you're doing and having your own business and having meetings with big people and selling your stuff in big retailers, you have, if you don't know it now, you should know that you've basically given the power back to females and done more empowerment through you didn't even have to say a word. Because there could be girls watching that's thinking, okay, cool, she could do it, then so can I. Which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask, we had a conversation off camera, and I don't know if it's classified or not. But you had a conversation with a certain big person.
The BJ.
The guy today. Yeah. What can I ask, like, what it was around?
Yeah, so it's all about business.
Yeah.
So there's something called Small Business Saturday on the 5th of December.
Okay.
So that's this Saturday. And he wanted to speak to businesses. I put out a tweet on Twitter. Oh, well, yeah, you tweet on Twitter. Yeah. And 10 Downing Street business team reached out to me, like a couple of their employees. And they was just like, we want you to come to 10 Downing Street. Like, we want you to meet Boris Johnson and we would love to get your insight. Like, what you're doing is amazing. Because it's crazy, but I'm like the youngest black female to ever launch in like Selfridges and Sainsbury's, and I feel like there's so many. They've been around for hundreds of years, and I'm the first. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It should have happened by now. So they was really impressed by what I've done. So the first opportunity to meet Boris Johnson, they was like, okay, as soon as 10 Downing Street opens up, because of coronavirus, obviously no one can go there, we want to invite you to more events, but we want Boris Johnson to have this meeting with, there's 5 of us, small businesses, and talk about your story and what we can do to help you, essentially. Okay. So I spoke about a number of things. Manufacturing has been a challenge. Yeah. Just because it's like the minimum order quantities are like they want you to pay like £10,000 or £50,000 up front, just as a holding fee. Okay. So I just feel like that would really help businesses to get their foot off the ground. Yeah. Because especially for a crisp product, you can't make that in a small machinery or a small kitchen. You have to use big machinery for it. And then I spoke about financial literacy, because I had passions to be an entrepreneur from quite young, but I didn't think I had the skills to do it. So I feel like at secondary school level, you should be equipped with that. So when you leave, you can decide, I want to be an entrepreneur. I know about taxes. I know about trademarks. I know about how to do my accounts. Yeah. Like, it's not hard, but it's just the knowledge needs to be given. So I spoke to him about that, and he agreed, and hopefully some things are going to happen to help people who want to start businesses. That's incredible. Because that's a very good point, because I don't think the education system at all like helps in terms of building that entrepreneur spirit within you. Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah. And I feel like, if Boris is watching, it's one thing we want to talk about. Yeah. And I feel like for me it's quite funny, because I never wanted to run a business. I had this conversation with a friend yesterday, actually. It's not that I never wanted to run a business. I just knew that growing up, I never wanted to work under somebody else. Like, I don't, like, there's no disrespect to anyone who does, because there's a place for everybody, but I just knew personally that I didn't want to work for anybody else. Yeah. And when I look back at, like, times that maybe I showed myself entrepreneurial skills, I'm going to say it live on now, because it's been years, no one can get on to me now. Yeah. But when I was at secondary school, so I went to private school, but I'm from a tough area in London. Yeah. But I went to a private school in Hertfordshire. Okay. And, what area are you from? I'm from Tottenham. Oh, okay, cool, yeah. So, I went to private school in Hertfordshire. Nice. And me just being this little black boy from Tottenham, everybody just, for some, like, the first week, everybody was just scared of me, because I just was, it just wasn't what they're used to. So, the first time I actually showed entrepreneurial spirit to myself, Sainsbury's. So Sainsbury's. Yeah, I used to buy the 70p bag of cookies. Yeah. And I used to sell them for £5. Like, and no one's wiser, because these people here, like, for them to go corner shops, it was a drive. It wasn't just walk out your house and be there in 10 seconds. So for them, these cookies are, if we don't get them, I can't get them anywhere. So I started selling them for £5, and then they started selling out daily, and then I started selling like other like different little foods and stuff, and I never deeped it till now how much like I enjoyed sales and how much I enjoyed kind of trying to find those gaps. So me being in Hertfordshire, and literally like the closest corner shop was like a 40-minute drive. Yeah. So if you guys want the snacks, shout me. Yeah. So it was kind of, now that I look back on it, I was like, okay, cool, I can see that maybe I did have those skills. Just need to apply it to something now. So absolutely. I do feel like, because when I never studied business. I studied business in uni, but that doesn't help me with anything in terms of like my business. I never studied business at college, but I feel like the actual topics and subjects that need to be taught aren't, and I feel like that's one thing. It's great that you have like that link with Boris Johnson now, and hopefully he's looking at it properly, to see that the education system does need fixing, because like it's not really pushing people to kind of challenge themselves outside of school. Yeah. They're just pushing you to challenge yourself in your exams, absolutely, get your grades, and then get somewhere. That's it, yeah. So, that's very great to hear. Yeah, because I studied accounting and finance. Yeah. I actually went to a business school. Okay. So I went to Cass Business School. And I remember filling out a survey like, oh, what do you want to do after? Or what are you currently doing? And I was running my company whilst I was studying. Yeah. And there was no option for me. Like, the survey didn't have, I want to run a company, or it's like, okay, work here, work in finance, I'm like, there wasn't even other for me to fill out. Like, it was just so boxed off. So I'm like, you're not catering for people who want to start a business. Granted, there were societies and entrepreneurship society and what have you, but the actual university itself didn't really see their students as becoming entrepreneurs, which is ridiculous.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
The last thing I wanted to ask you, because this was, you said it at the start and it blew my mind, because I was going to ask you, you know, like, as businesses, you know, we're ever expanding and keeping up with trends and just trying to move forward. How did you, I was going to ask you, you know, what's kind of like your next steps, like how you're going to build the brand even more. So you kind of touched it. How have you gone? And again, this isn't even disrespect, this is just, I'm in awe. How have you gone from snacks to sport? Like, I can see a link actually when I say it out loud. But are you talking about sportswear, or what are you trying to branch into after?
So sports snacking products.
Okay. See, I should have asked first. Go on. Yeah, sorry.
So the Sumo Sport range is gonna be protein-based snacks.
Okay.
So cater to those who want, like, for example, we're bringing out coconut water that's fortified with electrolytes and vitamins. So it's like those who want to kind of go to the gym, rock climb, all of these things, skateboard, and they want a brand that caters to their needs. So protein-based snacks that are healthier for you. Drinks that are going to help with your performance. So we're bringing out that range as well. So essentially that's Sumo Sport. We're not going into clothing.
I mean, you could. Because I feel like with the whole, I love a story. Like, I love buying into a story, not just like a logo and a design. So with obviously me being Nigerian, I'm pretty much sold on your product. Like, it's very easy, like, in terms of plantain chips, but you know, like, the story of how your mum helped you out when you even started. Like, I have a very close relationship with my mum. And I love it when brands bring their story into their brand image and they make it prominent. Like, we're not just a brand because we wanted to be one. We started from something. So I buy into that a lot. So I'm already, like, sold. So for somebody who, and again, like, I do football, so for somebody who's now playing sport, and I'm a bit weary when it comes to protein shakes and stuff like that, because I'm not really sure. When I'm kind of sold on a brand and I have, like, more faith and trust in the brand, I feel like they repay it through their products. Does that make sense? So the same way, like, for your brand, you have a story. It's like, okay, cool. Now if when you drop your sports snacks, I'm going to invest into it because I love the brand. So anything that this brand drops after that, I'm going to at least try it. So how are you going to, obviously the story kind of embodies the whole brand, but do you think with the whole now expanding onto sports, do you think you can still sell the story through your sports products as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, people have asked us that. So okay, so you're going into other products. Like, are you keeping with your brand story? And I think the main thing about the Sumo brand is we are all about bringing people together with food, and we are 4 millennials. So it's very much East London. Like, I'm from East London. It's very much grimy. What you want to do, you want to enhance your performance. We're always going to be natural ingredients. And I believe in minimal ingredients. Like, I want to look on the back of the pack and be like, okay, I know what that is, I know what this is, and there's only, like, let's say 8 ingredients or something. So we always stick to those morals in every product that we bring out. So all of our products tie in with our initial brand story and bringing people together with food. So we're always going to keep our morals. We're not changing it up. The story stays consistent throughout. So
And actually, I know I said it before, but actually, this might be the last thing, because now this things are popping into my head. I imagine that you're quite a hands-on person. As am I. And obviously, I'm still at, like, the beginning stage of my brand, so I still do things kind of, like, all by me. How is it letting go of a bit of the power? Like, giving... Essentially, this is, like, I say my brand's my baby, innit? So essentially, like, giving pieces away for other people to look after. How was that transition for you, by the way?
So I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. Only because and I never think a founder should find it difficult, and even a CEO should find it difficult. But it was only hard because it's easy for me to give for example, sells away to someone who I know is gonna, like, yeah, you've shown me you're gonna do the sales, like, you've shown through. But it's more difficult when you feel as though maybe that team member won't be able to do it. So yeah, I think it depends. It depends on the person, and it also depends on your team as well. If you definitely know that they're going to do it, especially as we're a fast moving brand, it's kind of like, yeah, we need you to come with the sales. Please send those emails when you need to. Please do what you said you're going to do. So yeah, I think it's only hard when you feel as though that person's not really going to do what they've been asked to do. So yeah.
Do you still have majority control over the company even with your investors?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Lovely. See, because I need to learn that. Not I need to learn that, but it's like I'm very particular because of like the story of my brand. I was gonna say, like, you know how when you get a new job you have like a little introduction into the company. Do you do that for your new employees?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
So we do that, and we try and make sure that they're best equipped for, you know, running with the vision. I wouldn't say I don't think it's become too difficult for me to kind of hand over work. Because, for example, when we're at trade shows, I didn't speak to the Sainsbury's buyers. Yeah. I spoke to Selfridges, Waitrose, and other ones, but I didn't speak to the Sainsbury's buyer. And the person who kind of I pitched to Sainsbury's, but I didn't speak to them and I didn't follow up with them. So the person who led that was just like brilliant, and emails coming in whilst we're in Sainsbury's are like, "Hi Rebecca," like always Rebecca. So I let her take the lead on that. So I think it's not too difficult. I'm not too bad on kind of delegating work and like letting someone else run with it. As long as I feel like they are gonna, like, she really showed through, like she was emailing people whilst we were still there, like whilst they just walked off, like, "Hi, I just met you." So yeah
you must, like, I know, like, obviously, you know, I'm interviewing you and it's supposed to be all professional, but you if I was if I was sitting in that chair right now, I'll be doing backflips. Like, you must be like just so excited of what you've been able to build, but just like so proud of yourself, because it isn't easy. Especially like with the whole COVID period, like a lot of businesses, you know, maybe weren't ready for this, which is understandable because no one knew this was going to happen. But the fact that you've built this up and it's yours, like it's yours, and you've been able to go from nearly dropping it to listen, it's one of my main streams of income, I can't drop it. Like, you must be so excited of what you've done, and I guess the question is just how far you can even take it now. Because I keep saying, this is the last I'm going to ask. When I get there, I'll get there. One thing that I think I love the most about your brand is that every sale, you donate, food to a child in Nigeria? Yeah. Like, that's, like, that whole charitable set, how... You're just good. Like, it's just, like, it's incredible because it's you know, you're still providing a product, so you're giving to your consumer. Yeah. But you're still giving back home. Yeah. Especially home. Like, yes, we're all in the UK, but the same thing with me, like, I want to do as much as I can to give back home. Yeah. So what gave you the idea? Like, was that always the plan?
Yeah, always. Yeah. I think with businesses, as you hear entrepreneurs say all the time, if you're going to do it for money, then there's no point of doing it. Yeah. I think when you're actually in a company, you realise that saying is true, only because it gets hard and you want to know there's something driving you, like your purpose. I feel like purpose drives you more than money. And of course, like, I've met with a young boy in Nigeria and he told me about his hardships and I was just like, this is just sad. Like, I think children and them struggling at such a young age really touches my heart, because I feel like over here, in the UK, maybe not all children, but for the most part, I think of course, with that, we grow up, I grew up in pretty much poverty, like council house, estate, single mother, but it's not the same as when you don't have any parents, and you're struggling to get even an education and food and stuff. So just that is such an innocent child not having access to that really touches my heart and makes me want to give to them so that they can. So yeah, what made me want to do it is I actually met a young boy and he was just telling me he's orphaned and he struggles with even getting education because the teachers go on strike often. And it just, like, I got to the airport after meeting him and I was just in tears and people were like, what's wrong with you? But I was just like, no, I need to, that was my driving force to starting the brand. Like, I need to, when I get back to Nigeria, give back to him and help people like him. So, yeah. And
that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, I feel like I said it to my friend before you got here, that like at the end of the day you have a legacy to leave in it.
Yeah.
And we're not always gonna be here. Yeah. So what other impact have you made except making money? Because we can make money in many different ways. But what can you leave to inspire the next person to do it again and do it even better than you? So that's incredible. I feel like the whole overall message to you is you nearly dropped this, and one random one conversation with somebody turned you from dropping it to where it is today. So, but I just extend like my well done to you.
Thank you so much.
And I know, like, as the magazine and as the team, you know, they like to keep eyes on people who do incredible things like this. So I know they're going to keep an eye on you, and any way that they can keep in touch and watch and track and promote your progress, they will. But from me and my brand, I wish you nothing more than success.
Thank you so much.
I hope everybody watching can take some inspiration from this as well, especially you females, and know that it's not a man's world. We're all equipped to make it. And obviously follow her on socials.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say bombard her, but if you have any questions to ask her, then DM her and ask away and see how she can help you as well. Yeah. So thank you for coming today.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
And see you guys later.
Thank you. Thank you.